is mine. Keeping it together, Bree?
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it. How you holding up?
Not in any mood to talk about it.
Keeping it together, Bree?
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit you, Tunt, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
How you holding up?
Not in any mood to talk about it.
Keeping it together, Bree?
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Keeping it together, Bree?
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it. How you holding up?
Not in any mood to talk about it.
How you holding up?
Not in any mood to talk about it.
Keeping it together, Bree?
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit losing your tongue. Who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Keeping it together, Bree?
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it. How you holding up?
Not in any mood to talk about it.
Glad to see you well. Anything more? Until later, then.
Keeping it together, Bree?
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Keeping it together, Bree?
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it. How you holding up?
Not in any mood to talk about it.
Keeping it together, Bree?
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Keeping it together, Bree?
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it. How you holding up?
Not in any mood to talk about it.
Keeping it together, Bree?
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Keeping it together, Bree?
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it. How you holding up? keeping it together, Bree?
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
I don't come visit you, Tom. Who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Glad to see you well.
Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
I don't come visit you, Tom. Who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
How you holding up?
Talk about it.
Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
I don't come visit you, Tom. Who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Until later, then.
Be wary. That hound has a nose for sores.
Somebody got your attention, boy?
What is it, boy?
Must have picked up. Halt! The hound smells sauce on you. Plenty of it, by the sound of him. Haven't got a collar for you. Damn it. I'm sorry, but I can't let you leave. Hounds, at the ready. Fine, fine. Do all the gallivanting you want. But if a hand goes snapping at your heels, I'm looking the other way. Reckon there's no one left to care that danger dies. Pipe down. Tired of your whining.
Pipe down.
doesn't feel right.
Creeping little flies. Go back! Get out of my realm!
You wriggling little worms.
I'm ready! Worms, take you!
Was a massacre. They looked like Loha's crew, but did you see their eyes?
Yes, black as the grave.
What am I doing here? I thought I was in the cave.
The dwarf looks around in confusion, quietly talking to itself. It seems oblivious to you.
I swear, I should have expected nothing less. They wander across a tragedy, and how do they spend their time? Gawking at the dead like they're nothing more than a sack of cloth and flesh to be looted. Bloody parasite. Wait, can you see me? Elves, teeth. How'd you manage that?
The dwarf's eyes narrow, and he squares his shoulders. His hand seems to instinctively drop to his waist.
That a fact. And here I thought our darling Bishop Alexander was the only one. So God-woken are powerful, eh? Powerful enough to control mind? To force brothers to draw steel against each other?
The dwarf nods grimly. After a long moment, he swallows and starts to speak.
We were doing some work round these parts. Smuggling, stealing, removing the odd witness. You know, bread and butter stuff. We were sitting here, eating, drinking, telling tales, when some of the lads, their eyes turned black as pitch. Next thing I know, my best mate's buried his dagger in my gut, and there's void woken everywhere you look. Them that didn't die were carried off to the cave. Might be I was the lucky one, lying there, bleeding out. Heh, was the day I'd have to cut you just for asking. Don't suppose it makes much of a difference now. The cave was our base, where we wrecked, smuggled, and stored the loot. The entrance is through the ruins over yonder, for all the good it'll do you. Might be swarming with void woken by now. Ain't no one deserves that end. No one should see their brothers coming at them with murder in their eyes. Still here, eh? Thought you'd have...
What was that voice? It wouldn't stop. It just wouldn't stop. It was like razors in my brain. I thought it sounded familiar, but different. I can't quite remember. Oh, what was...
Rubbish.
This again. Better tread softly. Somebody's in that cave.
Keep on walking, bud. You got moss for ears. Scram.
The face of a dwarf appears from the shadows. You notice a couple of fresh scratches on his cheek, partially hidden by a thick beard.
You got a problem with simple instructions, friend? Leave. Now. Don't know about no questions asked. but there'll be no answers given. Now leave!
The dwarf freezes, his face a mask.
And? Are they dead?
The dwarf's face falls. He looks utterly devastated.
God's truth. I were looking for mushrooms when I heard the shouts. Ran out as fast as I could, but I took a tumble. The crew was fighting amongst themselves, tearing each other apart. They had these pitch-black eyes and fought like demons. Hell, maybe they were demons. I only managed to drag Valine in here before the bloody Void Woken turned up to finish the job. I've never seen such slaughter. Best we could do was save ourselves and try to report back to Driftwood. Lohar's got to know about this. How about you talk some sense? Those Voidwalken are monsters! If you think you're marching us to our deaths, you've another thing coming, bud. God's blood. Fine, if you insist on racing to the Hall of Echoes. The cove's guarded by those old ruins below. You'll need to get through them before you can get in. Me and Valine will seek into the ruins and wait. If you start to scrap, we'll have you back.
Persistent little flies.
Your abilities are powerful, but this time it's ready for you. Its hold on the dwarves never slips. You can hear a faint chuckle from an unseen mouth.
Buzz back to your dung heap.
Pray speak. Pray speak.
In the meantime, though, let us continue our search for Bramos. He knows things. Things I must know.
Bramos the Wanderer. He's a legend among lizards. The greatest dreamer of them all. The one that has mastered the dark of horror sleep and has found sanctuary amid its horrors. The most inhospitable plane imaginable. A realm of insanity and death beneath a starless black. Picture a maze filled with your greatest fears. Picture haunting that maze forever. That is but the first step into horror sleep. Because if one braves the absolute terrors of nightmare and finds sanctuary there, one is safe even from the void. That's right. Horror sleep is a realm feared by the cosmic menace that is the void. Ideal location for a summer house.
He sighs, rather dramatically.
Oh, perhaps that's because I don't quite enjoy broaching the subject. If I must. The long and short of it is that I was banished because I was found in bed with a demon. Because I invited her in, of course. How else? You clearly have a hard time understanding all this, so let me paint you a picture. I am a prince of the House of War. There are others with that title, but none of them are the Red Prince, the jewel in the crown of the Empire. I lived in the Forbidden City, a vast complex of palaces that houses the royal family and its servants. No others are allowed to enter it. As for myself, I was never allowed out. That is the price I paid for my genius. I was too valuable to be exposed to the dangers of the outside world. All the wars I won, and I won them all, of course, I won from the comfort of sofas. Bring me information and I will deduct, then instruct. From amid the ultimate opulence of my quarters, I expanded and very much ruled the empire. I had it all, and frankly, I got bored. You miss the point. I did not suffer the boredom of some spoiled brat. Mine was the absolute absence of challenge. The longing not simply to watch the horizon, but to journey towards it. If I could not experience the joys of the world beyond, I had to bring the world to me. Miraculous what a sorcerer can do with a little arcane lore. I summoned demons, the most dangerous game in the world. But they knew they met their match in me, and so we conversed. We drank wine, we played chess. Converse with demons, and you learn of the shadows behind creation. Drink wine with them, and you have visions of worlds beyond worlds. Play chess, and you know that one wrong move is certain death. My mind rejoiced. Now for the body, I reasoned, so with a certain succubus I spent nights that would surpass your understanding. So you do comprehend. I spent a whole year in the company of demons, every night atop the white library tower of my palace. It was my great study of existence. It was my supreme joy, even if...
He gives you a long, respectful look.
How unexpectedly shrewd you are. What happened next was simply unforeseen. One moonless night, the succubus that was my lover turned to me, fangs exposed. But I could tell from the glint in her eyes she wasn't bent on our usual fang play. There was no light in that glint. It was the darkness of the void, the wet darkness of spilt blood. And in short, I was afraid. I tried to move away, but it was too late. She was upon me. She had done it. She had outmaneuvered the Red Prince. Finally, I was vanquished. She went for my neck, quick as a charging cobra, but then suddenly it's as if time ground to a halt. Something deep inside me welled up, a power I never knew I had. She simply froze under my stare. Then she screamed. A scream so abhorrent its ripples caused birds to fall dead from the sky. People covered their ears in vain as they went insane. The Imperial Guard forced itself into my chambers and found me with the succubus still on top of me.
I believe the phrase is caught red-handed.
At first, I admit it was all rather tiring. I was, after all, marched out of my own empire, and I've been hounded by the odd assassin ever since. After that came the indignity of the collar and incarceration. But ever since we decided to be so bold as to bid our farewell to Fort Joy by any means, it's all been rather fun.
Oh, I could complain about the food and the lodgings and the sheer barbarity of the common folk. But in truth, all of that fits within the larger frame that is adventure.
Adventure is precisely what my life was missing. Yes, as long as that road eventually leads all the way back to my throne, that is. Yes? Is it an audience you desire?
Yes. Yes. We have to find the Masters of the Source, don't we? As such, my first priority remains to find Roost. He is the pawn that will eventually topple the king. Ha! A tale of cloaks and daggers and daredevilry. You up for it? Wonderful.
She bows, with thespian flair.
Imagine a black room. It's been your room for years. You know it by touch more than sight, for it's always dark. And when I say always dark, I mean always dark. You're either in the room or in the box, for it's in the box that you travel. You're only let out at night, because you only hunt in the night, with the Master's voice in your ears urging you on. And after it's done, you lie down in the box once more, with wet hands and mad red thoughts. Sometimes it's best to let sleeping questions lie. The thing is, the box didn't break me, though I confess it taught me to hate. One night, I killed a scholar. With my needle through his fragile old skull, he fell headfirst upon his writing desk, blood mingling with spilt ink. It's when I saw the ink that timid thoughts of rebellion first bloomed. Back in my dark room, I dipped my needle that killed the scholar in his own ink, and engraved his name in my skin. I'd remember him. I'd honor him with vengeance. His name was the first, but many more followed. Of course.
She bares her left arm and shows you the name. You softly run your finger across it.
Mindarin. He was Turashar, a keeper of stories. I'm sure he was loved by many. People like him, the beloved dead, they kept me going. Then, one day, it happened. A gush of wind, a sliver of light. Light! I hardly knew it for what it was. A simple oversight that comes with habit. A door, left slightly ajar. That was all I needed to feel a rush of blood, a thirst for liberation like never before. I tore at the shackles that kept me chained to the floor, iron thick as a smith's wrists. Of course they wouldn't budge, they never did before. But now that I saw the light, something welled up inside me, a raw and undeniable burst of power. The shackles broke, and next thing I knew, I was free. I stood alone outside the ruins of a fortress, snow-capped peaks all around me. But the sun, oh, the sun. I had risen as if from the grave, and she kissed me back to life. Why, I traveled back to civilization and had myself a long, luxurious bath. I was given my needle by the master. Guess I'm just sentimental like that. Fine, if it means that much to you.
She draws her needle and holds it up between thumb and index finger.
Go on. Ever so gently touch the tip.
Barely have you touched the needle's pinpoint surface when a thick droplet of blood wells up from your fingertip.
Sharp little minx, isn't she? Sibyl, this needle was forged in an altogether different world. It wasn't wrought upon a crude anvil hammered into shape with rough blows. No, it was cast with demon precision. It is absolutely priceless, and it's yours. The Master's own words. And he was right. As an instrument of assassination, it's absolutely priceless. But one day soon, he'll find out just how much he overspent on his gifts for little old me. Just why this needle is a girl's best friend. One might say I'm a bit of a sucker for poetic justice.
I've got to say, I think we're onto something interesting here. Well, I think I should focus on getting this demon out of my head. And of course, I think you should help me. And if we pick up a few new source tricks along the way, so be it. What's up, Chief? What, this old gaggle of weirdos? Oh, she's all right. A lot of bark, but I think she really cares about what we're doing. Better that than a sweetheart who'd sooner watch you walk off a cliff than shout, "Look out!" My kind of salty old crank. She certainly seems to want to help us. You don't get many of those in life. I've learned to appreciate them where I find them. I don't know about home, but I do sort of miss the gang I travel with now and then. Crawler, Madcap, Papa Joris for sure. Musicians mostly. We all had our own stories, our own troubles, but when we were together and the music was with us, it was like none of that mattered at all. When you have people like that around you, you know, a family, even rain feels like sunshine.
look. A lamp.